Hi, welcome to Digital Warriors webinar today. We're going to be talking through some more detail about our new Digital Warriors programme that we're running in partnership with Sparkline. My name's Sophie, I work for Hopscotch, and we connect businesses to great female flexible talent through our job board. We also run workshops, training, and we help women who have had a career break re-enter the workforce through returnships. Here's a little bit more information about us, and here's Helen, who's our founder. We have a kind of global community of 80,000 women, and on our site there's loads of handy content that can help you while you're job searching, so do check us out. So welcome to our new programme. We launched it very recently, and what it does is provides online training to help you get ready for your next digital career move. The reason we've launched this programme is that we ran a survey last year, 2019, and really during that survey, it really cried out to us that we needed to do something in terms of delivering some online training. 90% of you replied saying you wanted a skills uplift, and 7 out of 10 said that was in digital skills. So as a result of that, we've partnered with digital analytics expert Sparkline to bring you this accredited programme. And the idea is it will be for you anywhere, anytime. It's online and you can just access it whenever you need.
Great, thanks Sophie. Hi everyone, my name is Alitza. I'm the founder and CEO of Sparkline. I'll just spend a couple of minutes giving you a bit of background before we go into the components of the program and the brief history and background to the program. As you might be able to hear, I'm actually originally from Australia, but I moved to Singapore in 2012 with my family, and then set up Sparkline in 2013. My background was nearly 10 years at Google, and during that time I worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies on implementing digital strategies within their businesses. The reason that the company started in the first place was a lot of businesses had a lot of information, but they weren't making any real decisions around how to optimize experiences for their customers or how to spend money in the right ways in marketing. So we really started as a boutique consultancy to try and help solve that and help businesses make better decisions using data. These are some of the customers that we have worked with. We work with the likes of Singapore Airlines. We also do support Google, and really across verticals and across markets. In over 6 years, we've grown to develop support across education, maturity, insights, and productized solutions for any type of business. And really the purpose of our business lives in the heart of people. If we can empower people to make better decisions in companies, then we watch them to be successful and we watch those companies grow. These are some of the clients across the region. Some of them we support globally, so the likes of Singapore Airlines, for example, or Air New Zealand, and then some more local brands or some brands that you'll probably recognize as global brands like McDonald's. What problems do we look to solve for in businesses? At the heart of success for companies are 6 main components that we see. So really what we're trying to do is to help answer some of these key questions, which are very common to us. How do I get return on investment from my marketing spend? How do I get my teams to be data proficient? Nobody knows how to use the tools, or nobody knows how to really come up with insights that I can action. What can I learn from how devices are being used in purchases? You'll know yourself when you're researching, you will cross between your mobile phone or your website and back again. So how do those devices intersect when people are trying to make purchase decisions? A very big topic is everybody has too much data and no insights. So they're really looking for help with that. Who are the audiences? So how could I segment them more appropriately by either age or interest or what they're in the market to buy or what they're researching? And then obviously, how can I create really good digital experiences for customers? We've all had experiences ourselves where checkout queues take too long, or a form there's too many fields and we give up on that company. And that obviously causes businesses to lose money. So how can we make sure that the experiences that businesses create make it easy for consumers to be able to purchase or interact with them, or to troubleshoot or speak to them. At the epicenter of that is this circle that you see, and really where we touch on is across connecting data sets, across automating a lot of processes because they can be laborious and slow, making sure that we're delivering actionable insights and ideas to customers. And then sort of sitting around that are skills, culture, and being able to create agile teams and working on strategic partnerships. Businesses really struggle with talent across the spectrum. So we see talent as a really key pillar for success in digital maturity. As I said, all businesses are struggling with this. So we see statistics everywhere, just like the guys at Hopscotch have surveyed a lot of you. But even from the business standpoint, we know that 40% of global companies are relying on the analytics expertise of one individual employee. It's a very busy employee, obviously, but not a way a business can scale making decisions using data if there's only 1 or 2 employees that know how to use the systems and tools. The other one is 54% of businesses agree that the talent gap really holds them back from transformation, and that they lose competitive advantage because there's such a shortage of skills. These are all global numbers, and it's something even for us when we're consulting every day that we will have conversations about. I'll often be asked, how do I find talent? How do I train them? How do I know if they're any good, et cetera, et cetera. So the opportunity really here is exciting, is that businesses are crying out for this type of talent, and they're crying out for them to be in the teams where decisions are being made about how to market to people, or how to really get customers on board in ways that they haven't done so before. And this quote here just basically solidifies what I've been saying in the previous slide, but was done through a Boston Consulting Group study across Australia and New Zealand. And really what it came down to is there are lots of components to that digital maturity or that success, but really where the revenue uplifts come from for businesses are those that have actually invested in more mature people and some of the more organizational dimensions around culture, etc., rather than all investment in smart technologies and tools, but without the right people in there to really embed them into the businesses and to really come up with those actionable insights. So education becomes really one of the core pillars of success within even generating revenue over and above competitors. This one again is similar. So high-performing organizations have employees that are better educated on data concept versus other organizations. This has just come out from McKinsey in January, and obviously really reassuring for us when we live this every day, but talking to people like yourselves that are thinking of embarking on an online course to upskill yourself, you know, or looking to get back into the workforce, which is the investment that you're making in yourself through investing in education, does pay off, and that businesses are really crying out for this type of talent to help their businesses to grow. And so we train. We train because all the stats tell us so, and we train because we see ourselves that our companies struggle. And we've really trained across businesses and individuals. I would say for the first couple of years of the business, and still today, we would do a lot of B2B training. So training our advertisers, but training our companies in our consulting teams to be able to be upskilled and trained. And these are some of the brands that you can see that we have trained over time, but also individuals. And I'll tell you a little bit about how that came about in the next couple of slides. But now more consistently, we are running live training courses and online training courses for people like yourselves that are really looking to fill knowledge gaps or to begin a career in this really in-demand field, or to try and make sure that they've got the right foundational knowledge to go into these jobs potentially for the first time, or that from previous roles like marketing or like sales, etc., that they're reskilling to go back into the workforce. And you can see some really nice quotes there from some of the people that we have trained live. We cover a wide range of topics in training, from how to use data, and some of the coding languages, but also how to make sure that it's applied to be relevant back to stakeholders and skills that they can use in their day-to-day world as an analyst. And we also then be able to see lots of practice that they're able to go through. So what are a lot of the examples that we can be putting in front of trainees that even our own analysts live with every day that can obviously make relevant some of the concepts that we use. Okay, so how did we come to train everyday people? Back in 2014, Google came to me with a problem statement, and it was in Singapore, and they had said that the government had done a study that said they needed 3,000 more people skilled in the next 2 years in this field. And so they had asked Google to come up with a curriculum to train fresh graduates in these roles. Google then came to us and said, well, you guys know what you're doing, you do this every day. Can you please build us a 6-week in-classroom curriculum that you can train on behalf of Google, and that we can try and then find the candidates to come in, and the government will then pay for the program. And so we did that, and we did that over 4 years. And we learned a lot from doing it as well. Some things that we iterated or changed a little bit over time, or if new industries came into play, we would start to tweak and adapt some of the content. But it was a really promising combination. And you can see from the quote there from the Squared Data Program Manager at Google, just how much the team really, the trainees really enjoyed working with our teams, how much we did to sort of prepare and deliver the curriculum. But more importantly for people like yourselves, it's to look at the stats. So 100% of these people were offered jobs. They were all satisfied with the overall course and would recommend it to other people trying to go through their roles. And actually their entry salaries were around 16% higher than those that hadn't been through the course or taken the course. So where are they now? And some of them, ironically, we actually use as mentors in some of our own live programs because they've been out into the workforce for a period of time now. But when we did a bit of an assessment on what kind of roles they're in and what companies they're in, some of them are more traditional businesses like your banks or your FMCG type businesses like Unilever. But a lot are sort of sitting within digital first businesses like Grab or Gojek or Lazada. And then obviously you've got the consulting firms like your Ernst & Young also hiring from this pool of talent. There's a little star or sun right next to Google and Dentsu. And Dentsu is a big agency group born out of Japan, but have a very big presence in Asia. And it's between Google and Dentsu for the people that, the companies that have hired the most amount of these graduates over the course of the past few years. So really that helps us understand how well this program does to nurture people in the workforce, but also actually help them accelerate into these type of companies which are traditionally very, very competitive to get into and are very, very forward thinking in the industries of marketing and or reaching out to customers and creating customer experiences. And this is a quote here from the president of Dentsu Aegis Network, who basically says that they look forward to partnering with us on our 21st Century Analyst program, which is something we're also doing with the government. And it's really to bring data and analytics specialists into their business. When it was previously managed with Google, they were early adopters and supporters of that program, and they saw top talent in this field join the business, onboard quickly, and really make a significant impact with clients. And that's really important for us to know that whatever we're training is helping to really prepare people to be accelerated, go into the workforce, and make an impact very quickly. Now, since then, we've also developed partnerships and also relationships to try and cement the program further, because having worked on it for 4 years and tweaked it and learned a lot about how to train it, where can we actually scale it and where can we actually allow anybody that's interested in this type of training be able to access? With the Google program, you had to be selected. There were 25 students a year, so really it meant that nobody else could look at doing a program like this if they were potentially mid-career, like some of yourselves. all going into this for the first time, as this was the only program that existed at the time. So trying to think a little bit more at scale, we have looked to try and partner with associations. The one on the left is the IMDA, which is Infocom Media Development Authority in Singapore, and it's a government subsidiary. And we've now embarked on training both mid-career and graduates through a 3-month immersive digital program. And that is something that we're doing currently at the moment. They're in their final 2 weeks of that, and we will do that 1 to 2 times a year here in Singapore. On the right-hand side, you can see a Digital Analytics Association, which you may not know what that is, but they are based in the US, and they're the largest independent analytics industry association. And you know, we're really a consulting company that just happens to train just because we're in the industry, and selfishly we want to nurture the talent for ourselves as well. But really, when we looked at how we can scale and bring this program forward, we wanted to make sure that people going through the program also felt that they were graduating with some form of recognition. And so on your certificates of completion, the Digital Analytics logo is right there. And for them, when they went to vet the program, it was really about how well it fit into the competencies that they give to big businesses about how to nurture analytics talent within the organizations. And it fulfilled all their requirements for competency 1, which also helped us be reassured that the model that we had put together and had tried and tested over a number of years was also something that was relevant to an industry body or association for them to be able to attach their logo to the certificate of completion and give people an opportunity to be able to share that with LinkedIn, etc., for some sort of recognition of completion. Okay, so beyond core skills, and I'll take you through the curriculum in a moment, a lot of times when we train these courses, people pay attention to just learning the tools or learning some of the languages because it's often very black and white. But what we've started to see a shift for, and we continue to see this year on year, is the sort of want for more of the softer skills. So you can see, for example, creativity, curiosity, natural leadership, and emotional intelligence that make up a lot of this graph that you can see. And in traditional analytics courses or curriculums, they will tend to focus more on the actual platform or the technology, or for data science, they'll focus on the programming languages or stats-based kind of skills. And what's more important, as you can see, or what people are crying out for, is that relevancy. How can these roles speak to my stakeholders? How can they really uncover true meanings in problem statements we're trying to answer? So part of this curriculum is very much about doing interviews with people in these roles, is about making sure that the exercises that you get to do, or how you present and how you come up with a story, are just as important as learning sort of tools and languages, etc., so that you're coming out with more well-rounded skills and more relevant skills to these roles. Here you can see a screenshot of Coursera. So one of the things that I really feel is behind this course is not only the fact that we have tested it in a variety of different ways and have seen success, but also that it removes the clutter. If you've ever tried to research digital skills training or digital analytics training, you will see something similar to this, which is in an environment like Coursera. Even me just typing digital analytics, I can see over 373 results for just that particular topic, let alone putting a broader topic like digital skills or digital skills training. So we make sure that there's a lot of relevancy in what we teach you and how we teach it to you, so that you can get the best out of the course. And our academy is also trained by the same people that trained the Google Squared data program. And these are actually people that are doing the job. And one of the learnings that we found is that it really resonated with the students to have people that were in these roles, so that they could ask relevant questions. They can be taught only the most relevant things. So you will see throughout the course that the trainers do change, and they're the exact same ones that trained at Google over the 4-year period, so that you can learn directly from the people doing the jobs themselves. The next one shows Udemy, same problem. So here, even for digital analytics, we can see over 10,000 results just for that one topic. So if you're out there in the field trying to look for education, Yes, you can choose your own adventure, but which one would you choose? Through this course, in a 20-hour block, we can take you through a tried and tested and refined curriculum that really we've been able to prove has accelerated careers in the field. And for us, it's, as Sophie said earlier, it's about getting the skills into your hands as quickly as we can. So the learning is online. You can upskill quickly and effectively, and you can do it anywhere, anytime through the actual portal itself. So these are the particular topics that it covers, and I will go a little bit of a layer deeper into this, but essentially it covers 5 key pillars. One is on analytics strategies. So how do you define the business objectives when you're looking to provide success? What kind of strategies do you need to come up with? What are you going to measure? What aren't you going to measure to try and reduce some of that data complexity that we see? You'll get an introduction to some of the tools. So Google Analytics is the largest measurement platform for websites and apps, and also for marketing measurement. So this one really helps you understand at least what the industry is using, as well as being able to cover what is over about 80% of global businesses using this type of tool. Adobe Analytics would be the other one. It's especially dominant in insurance and banking spaces. But again, the 2 main leaders of web and app measurement, as well as marketing measurement through Google, so that you don't have to learn every tool that's in the market. And just for a little bit of information, there's about 7,000 of them. So you could be learning for a long time trying to get them all. But what are the ones that we can expose you to that majority of businesses are using, so that you feel comfortable going into those types of roles with those companies? Then we go along to analytics techniques. So this is the real meat of the stuff. So how are you going to really look at that data to make sense of it for a business and help them figure out how to answer all those questions that I started with, which was, where do I spend my money on marketing? How do I get better relationships with my customers? How can I get them to buy more frequently, etc. So we'll take you through some of the core pieces of analysis to be able to do that, and areas in which you can look at upskilling and using that information to make decisions. And then, of course, there's the storytelling and visualization. So how do you present the right story back to stakeholders so that they really want to pay attention and listen and create actionable decisions that prove that your worth in the organization is really making a big difference to how they do what they do. The final 2 pillars are the ones that really do address some of what we're seeing in trends with soft skills, with emotional intelligence, etc. So how do we teach you where you can research, how to question data, really understand what you're there for, what's the needs assessment, really understand the competitive landscape or other brands and how they learn about their customers. And then how do you learn things like creative judgment, or working with ambiguity, and being a real consultant to those businesses, which is something we know a lot of people in these roles really struggle with, because they do want to lean more towards tools and programming languages, rather than how can you think about a problem statement in really creative ways to make sure that the recommendations you're giving to businesses are really actionable and are really relevant. Okay, so once we've had the curriculum in place, we looked at other places we could take it. And we met up with Hopscotch towards the end of last year, where they told us a lot about these types of studies that had been done, and the crying out in the network for the skills training. And I'd mentioned to Helen that we have this program in place, and we can put it in an online environment, knowing that we've spent time to film it so that it could scale effectively. And really, she was really interested to try and work together so that we could come up with a program that would be relevant to all of you in the network, and also help you to do it in a really scalable and easy way. The other thing that we also saw when we were talking with Hopscotch is just how common that we share the inability for looking for these types of roles, especially within the female network. So probably for every 100 applicants for any of the roles that we have, we might get 2 or 3 women that are applying for these roles. And so to be able to work together with Hopscotch, and not only to address what was the needs in the market, but also to be able to say there is a women's network out there that we also need to nurture in these roles, so that we have more diverse teams in these types of professions. The developing opportunities for women in STEM, as I said before, we've had our own personal experiences with trying to hire, but you can see some of the stats in and around globally and also locally within the Asian market. So about 1 in 4 science and tech professionals in Singapore are female. That ratio has been stagnant over a decade. And then while the number of female IT professionals has grown about 10% since 2011, it's still less than half the growth seen in the number of male hires. And that really means that we're not seeing the diversity that we need in these roles and in these teams to be able to have businesses use data more effectively and make decisions about how to talk to customers or how to target customers. So this is the flow and the curriculum. It's in an online learning environment. It has 20 hours of online video all up. We did do a lot of research around the most effective way people learn in online environments, and a lot of studies showed that bite-sized content was far more effective. So the videos are all 2 to 3 minutes long and intersected by downloadable cheat sheets, interviews with industry professionals, and also some takeaways that you can keep beyond learning from the program. As mentioned earlier, once upon completion, you also receive a certificate of completion that's recognised by the Digital Analytics Association and something that you can really use for your resumes and or LinkedIn profiles when you're trying to go into these roles. You can see on the right-hand side, it covers 12 topics and a variety of video within those topics. So a little bit of an understanding of why we've created these types of programs, why these types of roles important now. There has always been a role for analysts in organizations, but that digital analytics, especially around marketing, etc., is so very, very new. And a lot of that is born out of digital technology really exploding in the last sort of 15 years, especially with the introduction of mobile phones, social networks, etc. It provides a lot of data and a lot of information that businesses just aren't keeping up with. Then we go into the digital marketing landscape. So what does measurement in advertising really look like? What are all the different channels that we can be looking at across search, display, social, as mentioned, YouTube, video, etc. And then how we come up with measurement frameworks to measure success of those channels. Where do we gather the data from? Where is it all living, and how do we bring it together? A little bit on the tools, so you've been able to understand how Google Analytics works, how Adobe Analytics works, and then we get into being able to actually use that data in real life scenarios that we ourselves see as a consulting company, that you can then really apply what you've learned with practical real life examples around really looking for optimization opportunities. Then we go into another reintroduction of digital measurements. So how would you actually measure the digital channels, and how would you apply them then to some of the behaviors? And then finally more into how do we create personalized experiences for consumers and visualization and storytelling. So as mentioned, you'll have 20 hours of learning with the bite-sized digestible videos, cheat sheets and exercises, and really across 3 key pillars. So what is the role of an analyst? How do we make sure that what we're teaching you accelerates your career? What are some of the tips and tricks that our team have learned over time to be more effective and efficient as an analyst, for example, using mind mapping? What's the role within an organization itself? So if you're thinking about, or you're interviewing, or thinking you're going to interview for roles, how do you make a good assessment of who all the stakeholders are? What role would you play in the business? What types of things could you ask the business about these roles? And then how little tips to build effective relationships within organizations once you're in there. And then finally, the people that you're analyzing, which ironically is yourselves a lot of the time, but it's that digital customer. So how do they behave? How do they interact with brands and marketing? What are some of the complexities around understanding them? And where can you find other research outside of company research to really understand what are some of the trends across different regions and marketplaces? And going a little bit deeper into that, you'll learn across tools, media measurement, actionability, testing, and of course, visualization. As mentioned, the trainers are industry practitioners. They are the ones that taught in these roles, so you will be learning from the industry practitioners themselves. You will learn practical applications for exercises for the industry. You'll learn soft skills together with programming. And then finally, you will make sure that you're equipped with downloadable cheat sheets and the ability to be able to review content. This is what it looks like. It's a very simple interface. It'll take you all the way through from start to finish. You can be learning this on the bus or train on the way home from work, or in cafe, or at home yourself. So it's very easily accessible, and everything is ordered for you in accordance to the curriculum itself, so that we're really taking you through a nice flow of beginning, middle, and end, and not having to jump around or confuse you as you go. The price here is $650 USD. We will send out the links afterwards so that you're able to access the program itself and also review this video again for further information. Now, if, for example, you're already potentially have a background in these types of industries, don't really feel like learning the role itself is for you, or that accelerator in the role, we also do have all of the modules in bite-sized pieces that are also on the platform, and it's really your sort of pick and mix option or choose your own journey. And that one is priced at a per module price of $199 USD. The completion recognition will happen at the end of the course, so you'll have a downloadable certification that you can take with you with your resumes. You'll all have fulfilled the level 1 competency for being a digital analyst after the program. You'll be comfortable to produce different types of analysis around marketing effectiveness, audience behavior, and basic marketing attribution. You will also be able to conduct basic A/B testing and personalization. You'll be able to build visualizations within Google Data Studio or Tableau, which are both industry-leading visualization tools. You'll be able to understand different types of presentation styles, mind mapping and other analytics tools. And finally, most importantly, you'll be able to be capable to consult and ask the relevant questions to stakeholders to build basic relationships for success within any organization. With that, I'd really like to thank you. I'd like to thank Sophie. I'd like to thank Hopscotch and you all for listening to us talking for the last half an hour or so. We're really excited to try and spread as many of these programs through these types of partnerships, as we understand, especially with Hopscotch, knowing that there are so few women that we're able to choose from when it comes to hiring, to really help empower women to feel that upskilling in these areas is not only worthwhile, it's absolutely necessary all around the globe, and that any investment that you're making within your education will only further help you to accelerate in a role within a digital marketing or a digital analytics or digital team type role. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sophie, and thanks everybody. We wish you luck on your analytics journey.
And thanks, Alita, that's great. It's really good to hear more detail about the course and to really kind of understand how it will work. In terms of how everyone can access this program, there's a link on our website. There's also been numerous links being sent through our newsletters as well. We know the digital skills gap is real. I think there's over something like 133 million new jobs being created over the next few years. So we really want to put women in the pole position to take advantage of this opportunity. So I think, yeah, together, hopefully we've come up with a course that's going to really do that and address that. So please do find the link, and if you have any queries or questions, you can email us at info@hopscotch.work. But thanks very much for listening today.